Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't set it up for people just to automatically get in. That was stupid. Whatever though. I think I'll give a few more minutes for everybody else. Do you guys use mostly modern or do you use classic view?
I
know.
use
classic.
classic too.
I do
I use
classic.
classic too, but I need to
Okay,
use
good,
modern.
good. You're on my team. Okay. I hate modern view so
Yeah,
much.
I can't get used to that.
I tried. I used it for like a month straight, trying to train myself to just get in the habit, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I never use MLS on the go, so it's not ever been like a
don't
big
either.
issue for me. It's like I always do it at home. I'm gonna definitely wait for Lozano to get on because actually I started this for him because I was gonna set his up. So let's see here. I don't know why I didn't just say auto admit. Whatever. Let me see who else here. Who's Neil Team 11?
Lozano probably,
Okay.
unless Penelope was connecting as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say whoever's logged into Clint's account probably.
Okay. Got it. Give people like 3 minutes. I'm gonna be pretty quick because I do have a showing, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this, I promise. It's really easy, and once I show you, if you haven't been doing it, you're gonna be like, why didn't I do that? Okay. I think that's. I think that might be it. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. So I'm going to kind of start by showing you the finished result. Okay. And then I'm going to show you the process to get there. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can see how it ends. So I actually pulled up mine and Clint's because I'm going to set up Lozano's on Clint's because that's what he uses. And I'm going to show you what I do on mine. So here we are on my, I'm going to have to minimize you guys, I think. Okay. So here you are on mine, all right? So when I go to search and I do CMAs, first of all, a lot of you are very much in the habit of doing the polygons because I know Chris Lozano and I were just talking about that. The polygons are really good for buyer searches, but we're doing CMAs, okay? So we're gonna have this is my list of CMAs. I have AAA, 1-story, no pool, 1-story, yes pool, 2-story, no pool, 2-story, yes pool, master template, new build 1-story, and new build 2-story. Those are my master searches. And I started it by you first have to make a master template. Once you make the master template, you're gonna use that and you're gonna work off of it. So for example, let's say I was going to do a CMA on 4423 Cypress Woods, okay? I'm gonna go back to my regular MLS. So this is a person who needs a comp, needs CMA analysis. So if I look at it, all I really need to know on this to run it is that it's a 1-story and it has no pool. So I'm gonna go back to my search, click search. I'm gonna go down here, 1-story, no pool. It's not a new build. And then I'm gonna put in, the only thing you have to add is the subdivision. I try to do the legal first if they have a legal, but sometimes agents don't really do that correctly, and I have to go back and do common instead.
What's the difference
do that? Huh? Sorry.
What's the difference between those two? Between
Legal is
legal
more
and
precise. So you could be in Deerfield, and there's a lot of different subdivisions within Deerfield.
okay.
It can make a huge difference, like Rogers Ranch, what section you're at. But Woods of Shabno is pretty broad, so I'm going to do that, broad search. You'll see I have the cutoff at 2019. I do 12 months, not 6 months. I can go back and change that. 1-story, no pools already set. And then when I do it, I go like this. I order it into square footage. And if you look, this square footage on this is 1848. So I'm going to go through it in order, and I'm going to get the ones that are closest to the square footage, like that. I'm going to say show selected. So I'm only seeing the ones that are close to that in criteria. And then I'm going to go to report, and do CMA summary, if you want a CMA summary. That's it. So it's
Awesome.
super, super fast. It doesn't take as much time to go through. I know I used to put all the square footage in all the time and all the things like pool, no pool, and it was just wasting way too much time. So this made it super fast. And another thing you can do is like, once you've run the CMA, you can go back and let's say you have a listing appointment on that property, okay? So I'm gonna go back to the criteria where I had it right here, where I had was a Chavano for that property. And I'm gonna actually save search, okay? And we're gonna save new, and this was Cypress Woods. So I'm gonna say Cypress Woods CMA. And I have to save it as new. Do not save changes. And so when I go to that person's house, I can actually just pull that up on my computer and go through it with them really quickly instead of kind of, trying to plug everything in. And I go down to, I have to pull up this prospect manager. I have a lot. I need to actually clean mine up. I have way too many. And I'm going to do it on the manual. And so go down to Cypress. When I go to their house, I'll already have this set up and I can actually show them photos and everything of the different houses.
Okay.
Okay. And that really helps when you're doing the live CMAs in front of people and you're going through it and showing them. And that way they can see the inside of the pictures and see how different their house is than the other houses. So I like doing that. That's how I do it. And I have, you saw my master searches I have set up because I showed you. So again, the best searches I have found are 1 story, no pool, 1 story, yes, 2 story, no, 2 story, yes, master template, of course, new build 1 story, new build 2 story. And like on new build 1 story, I just put, the way I changed that is I put 2020 for the year built.
Okay.
So it's only going to pull up new builds. And this is how this is how you actually put it together. So I'm going to go over here to Clint's. And I already set up a master one. The reason I do AAA, by the way, or 111 AAA is because I want them in the very front of my searches instead of getting blended in. So you want them in the very top. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is Clint's. I'm setting up for Chris. So I have the 11 AAA master search, Chris, and I have ZCL for your name. So here's the master search I already set up. On my master search, I actually put so many things on there. Okay, I put school district, agent confidential, short sale, square feet, lot size, everything. So if you ever just need a general search, you can pull that up if the ones you have aren't working. And you don't have to like keep adding things. But
Okay.
so once you go to like, most of you do have a regular save search that you use, I imagine, a template. And so go to that, actually add or remove fields of anything you think might be important to as far as CMAs or even a buyer search, okay? So you're just gonna, the way, if you don't know how to do that, you just click it and like sold price, whatever, and then just push it over there and then say, okay. All right. So once you do that, you're gonna save that search. This one's been modified, so I'm gonna save the changes on this. Now, if I want to create a new one, like I just did with the 1 story, I'm going to go back to that master search. That's the first one you're going to create. It's very, very, very broad. I'm going to go back to that. Now, this one I'm going to do a 1 story, no pool. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find stories. I have too many things. You don't need to, a lot of you worry about the years. The years generally are all the same in a subdivision. If they're not, you can go back and add them, but you'll find that they generally are built about the same time. So that shouldn't be a huge problem for you. And so I'm gonna go here, put 1 story. And then I'll make sure, yes, it's gonna have a pool. And I like to go 12 months back, Chris. If you wanna go back and change this to 6 months, you can, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm going to save the search. And this time I'm going to call it 11 AAA because that's how I get to the top of Clint's. I'm going to do this 1 story. Did I say with pool?
Yes.
With pool. Okay. Now, when you save it, I added you, Chris, to this because you weren't on there. If you're not a client of yourself, click here and add yourself as a client. Okay. And I've already added Chris. So I have Chris, I'm gonna do one page agent custom, and you're gonna push NA. NA is a manual template. So you don't have that auto search, and it's only under you, okay?
Okay,
And then you're going to not save changes, you're gonna save new, because you've given it a new name. You're not doing the master one anymore. You have a different one. You have the one story with pool. So we're
okay.
gonna save new. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I keep doing that until I have my setups. And once you have your master setups, you're pretty much, let me see if there's something else needs to add. You're pretty much good to go. And so I have for him right now, the 111 story of the pool. And now all I have to do actually is go to that one, say no pool. Instead, and I'm just going to make the second search as save search. And this one, we're just going to say no pool. And we're going to save new. And that's it. So it's super, super easy. And I'm going to show you, if you're new, you may not know how to do this. So if I'm going to do it one more time here. So let's say I'm doing my search for two-story no pool. And I'm going to do it in, I'm just going to say Deerfield. And this is 12 months. It's probably going to bring up a lot because it's 12 months in Deerfield. Again, you just put in order of square footage instead of actually writing out the square footage, then click around the square feet you're talking about. That's it, because most of Deerfield's all built about the same time anyway. Then my
Right.
report is going to be, oh, sorry, show selected, report, CMA summary, you're ready to go. That's
Okay,
it. And again, if you want to save it for the seller you're going in front of, you just do save search on the one you just put in. And I would put like Deerfield 1211 or something, CMA, whatever the address is, save new. That's the biggest thing you have to remember, to save new. And now when I go to their house, I can actually just pull it up and do it in front of them and like show them all the photos.
so you have to say, like, once you do the search and then you have to actually create the CMA in there before you save it? Or
No,
does
you
it-
don't have to create a CMA, but once you run the search, if you want to save it particularly for a certain house, then you have to go back and save the search again under that house's title. Does that make
Okay,
sense? Let me try it again. So let's say
so it
I'm
doesn't
searching.
automatically, I guess I was asking if it, when you save the search, it doesn't automatically do the CMA, right? You have to
No. You have to actually, I'm going to show you that one more time so you can see. So I'm going to do two-story yes pool. And mine goes back a year. Again, sometimes you just have to go back and change one little thing if it's not working, okay? So I'm going to
Okay.
put in here Woods of Chavano. It's not going to be a lot on this, I'm sure. View results. So let's say it's, 2,200 square feet. I might push this one. There's not going to be a lot like this. And then I'm going to go report, then I'm going to go, show selected. So only the ones you selected are going to be shown because that's what's going to be used for the report, Chris. And then you go back to the report and you do a CMA summary there. Or you can do a quick view too. CMA quick views are pretty cool. Like that, whatever it is you want to do.
Okay.
And then when you go back, if you're saving it for a particular home, I'll go back to refine criteria. It's on Woods of Chavano and it's got that for the home I was looking at. I'm going to save search and then put the search like that, save new. And so when I go to their house, I'm going to pull their house up. Most of the time, you're not actually going to their house to do it. Most of the time, you are really just pulling CMAs because you're trying to get an idea of what a home is priced at. Does that make sense? Most people do this. Most people have like the master template, some kind of master template, and they go in and they start putting like 2005 to 2010, all that kind of crap. And how many bedrooms? You'll find that there's not a huge difference in price if the bedrooms are like 5 or 4 but the big things that make a difference are like 2-story, 1-story, pool, no pool, and if it's a new build. So it really just saves you time. Does that make sense?
So that search would be right here on the screen where all of the saved searches are?
Okay,
Like the
so when
one
you
that
go to
did
search,
for
once
the
you
client?
save it, Chris, it's gonna be right here.
Okay,
And because I saved it with a triple A on mine doesn't, I never put a number first, Clint does. Mine are all under AAA. On Clint's, I had to put 11 AAA, so it'd be pulled to the top. That
okay.
way, if you don't do that, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to go through all of them and try to find it again. So I have all my master searches on the very top.
But if you saved one like you did for your client, if you wanted to show them at their house,
Then
it
you're
would,
gonna have to go through the prospecting manager probably,
where's that at?
right here.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when you go to that, because you're not running it for a person, like a buyer search, you're gonna go to the manual ones you have. Does that make sense? And now these are the ones that I'm actually not sending to a client. These are just the ones I'm gonna pull up at their house.
Okay.
Anybody, does everybody understand? Do you have questions?
So it's important to have those master templates set up.
It will save you a whole lot of time, a lot of time. Yeah, that's mainly why, because it's just a time saver. If you don't do it, you're going to be putting in all this criteria every single time. Like Chris and I are doing like Open Door right now, and Chris is getting a crap load of CMAs to run. If we did that for every single one, it would take up so much of our day. This is just really rapid and fast. And if you need to go back and be a little more detailed on years, like you're in a subdivision that the years do count, they're more of a mix, you could just go back and change that part, you know? But you'll find that they kind of all run together. There's not a huge variation in properties if you have it down to square footage, 1 story, 2 story, or pools or no pools. They generally go together. Of course, you can go back in there and change some things up, but that will pretty much cover you on most CMAs.
Cool.
Anybody else have a question or?
Nope,
See,
that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Were you already doing that, Ruth, or how are you doing it?
I do take a little bit of the longer route. I mean, these make sense and I do it from time to time. But I mean, I do probably half and half. I mean, makes sense when you say like, if you have a bunch of them to do, I mean, I don't have like a bunch of them to do. I mean, it does take a little bit longer, but I mean, I know a lot of the tricks here and there, but this is definitely going to save a lot of time.
Yeah, and I think that, I know
Like,
that
that's where I
Chris
get
was using the
confused.
polygon on the CMA. On CMAs, you want to try to use a subdivision. I know on buyer searches, you use a polygon a lot. It's better to use the actual subdivision on CMAs if you can pull up enough. If you can't, then you might go to polygon, but generally they'll be there. And if you can do more precise and put the legal and get enough, that should be even better.
so is the legal and the common subdivision name different or
Okay, let me pull up one to
like
show
from
you.
one
Like,
neighborhood or?
let me
would
show
it-
you one I pulled up earlier. Okay, here's one. Okay, here you go. So let me get you minimized again. So you see this one's Deerfield Common, Deerfield the Ridge at is legal.
Okay,
And
Where would
that
you
can make
find-
a huge, Deerfield's can be a huge difference depending on what part of Deerfield you're at.
Can
right.
you find Google and BCAD?
Do you mean to find where it was before?
Yeah.
And my first step I usually do is see if it's on MLS before, or if I could find their street. Like, let's say there's no Hadberry on here. I just go back and I type in Hadberry Lane. I pull up some of the houses just to see where they were. Okay, and it will usually pull up where they're at. Okay, if I can't find the home on MLS, then I do RPR. If you guys aren't set up on RPR, you need to get set up on RPR. I don't know if anybody's not set up on that. Does everybody have RPR?
Mhm.
Yes.
It's like on this one that you have pulled up right there, Kelly.
Mhm.
It's that one's on Hadberry Lane, but it says the common is the ridge at Deerfield and the legal is Deerfield the ridge at.
Yes, and that's
the
why I don't
previous
do
one-
both. I
Yeah.
usually will not do the common at all. I'll just put the legal because there is some discrepancies there. But I
Yeah.
generally just try to put only the legal one down. I don't put the common, but if I run into issues and I don't have enough, sometimes I have to do a little more troubleshooting and figure out if there's some kind of, sometimes especially the older neighborhoods, you know, they have a lot of these.
Yeah,
They
and it's so
change-
subject to how the agent has entered it in too.
Exactly. So I find that the legal is the most reliable if I just leave the common blank and I put in the legal. But if that is a problem, then I go back and do a little more checking on it. But that tends to work 90% of the time, I would say. Yeah. And, you know, all these little details about a house, you know, people get caught up in. If you narrow it down, and when you pull those details on those particular homes, you're going to find that, like Chris was saying, Lozano, you were asking about like a mother-in-law suite.
Yeah, there's like,
Yeah. If you
addition.
sit there and try to search mother-in-law suites, you're probably not going to find it. But if you do the general search and you pull up the ones that are close and you kind of just go through those, see if any of them had it, they probably won't. But you'll just even see if it's worth your time searching that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more here. I'm gonna go to the master search for Chris. And then we did the one story with pool, right? Okay, so this time I'm gonna do, actually I'm gonna pull that one up. I'm gonna do your 2-story with the same thing, but 2-story. So I'm just gonna go down. Where stories? Where did it go? That's one of the reasons I made this, because I absolutely all the time lose it. Okay, there it is. 2-story. So this is a 2-story with a pool. So I'm going to save this search for you as, just change that number to 2. Save new. And that's it. And now when you search, and as long as you know it's a 2-story with a pool, all you have to do is go to that and just put a subdivision. That makes sense?
Good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just faster. I mean, I personally don't like spending a lot of time on tasks that are busy, I guess you could say. And
Yeah.
I started realizing over time doing so many CMAs that they're always kind of the same. They're kind of bunched together. Most of the houses even are very similar in a neighborhood in one way or the other. And so that's why I just started doing it this way. Now, there are times, of course, where I have to go back and do something different, you know. And if you're in like Spring Branch, Lavernia, places like that, sometimes you'll have to do a polygon because they don't have really defined neighborhoods sometimes. But other than that, this should work for 95% of your CMAs, for sure. That's really it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, that definitely, it's a
Kelly,
Yeah,
time saver for sure.
yeah. I'll set the rest of yours up for you, Chris Lozano, so you don't, because so you have it ready. But it's just easy. I mean, fast.
Okay. So pretty much the only thing you're entering in after you click those master search templates are the subdivision name, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That should, and again, if it doesn't work, if you only get like 2 houses or something like that, then go back. You might have to do the common subdivision, or you may have to pull farther back, whatever it is, just try to figure, you start to troubleshoot a little, but I will say 90% of the time, that's all I have to do. Because I was using a master template for a long time, and just every time putting in the square footage, putting in the years, and it's just time consuming, very time consuming, and not really not necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Really easy.
thanks, Kelly.
Good
Thank
work,
you.
Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.